In other news, President Trump recently announced his intention to nominate... Trump recently announced his intent... Trump nominates Supreme Court Justice. HBR Talk with Hannah Wallen. In the wake of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death and President Trump's announcement that he will make a nomination this week, feminism's mask hasn't just slipped. It has been trampled in a blind panic by feminist pundits' instant condemnations of the woman perceived to be the president's most likely pick. I say perceived because we don't even know whether this judge is actually going to be the nominee. It has been reported that she is the choice the president is leaning toward, but until he actually makes an announcement, there's no confirmation that she's actually the one he's going to choose. Judge Amy Coney Barrett is the belle of the ball right now as far as the media is concerned, especially those who support feminism. They seem to be absolutely terrified of her. They have been for a long time, according to the Feminist Majority Foundation's 2017 letter opposing her appointment to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. The story hasn't changed much since that angry screed. What are they all yammering about? Why, she's a devout Catholic, of course, and their complaint isn't anti-Catholic prejudice, you see. No, it's fear that out of all the judges across the country with different religious and other moral backgrounds and belief systems, this one will have difficulty exercising impartiality and a dedication to the Constitution when considering legal questions that are brought before her. Apparently, they have forgotten that there have been other Catholic Supreme Court justices, the first of whom was appointed by Democrat Party founder Andrew Jackson. There have actually been 14 Catholic justices on the Supreme Court, 5 of whom were appointed by Democrat presidents. Of the 14 Catholic justices, 3 have been Chief Justices, including current Chief Justice John Roberts. Most of the 14 have, of course, been male, as there have only been 4 women on the panel, but Obama appointee Sonia Sotomayor was the first Catholic woman appointed to the Supreme Court. In other words, there is nothing new about a justice being Catholic, or female, or both. So, why is Judge Barrett's Catholicism such an issue? According to panicked feminist chatter, despite other justices' statements to the contrary, Justice Ginsburg's probable vote was the only thing protecting the Roe v. Wade ruling that made abortion a medical privacy issue, thereby legalizing it. Their stated expectation is that Judge Barrett, if faced with a challenge to the previous ruling, will vote to overturn it. Is that really what they're afraid of? If so, they haven't looked into her history. In 2013, at a luncheon celebrating the 40th anniversary of the case, she stated, "I think it is very unlikely at this point that the court is going to overturn Roe v. Wade, or Roe v. Wade as curbed by Planned Parenthood v. Casey. The fundamental element that the woman has the right to choose abortion will probably stand. The controversy right now is about funding. It's a question of whether abortions will be publicly or privately funded." This doesn't sound like Judge Barrett is all that keen on overturning that ruling, but maybe feminists already knew that and just didn't want to admit that their real fear is about money. Let's look at another bit of Judge Barrett's history they might not like. Washington Post writers Beth Reinhard and Emma Brown pointed it out in their article. Amy Coney Barrett, potential Supreme Court nominee, wrote influential ruling on campus sexual assault. Their focus was on a 2018 case decided in 2019 in which a 3-judge panel led by Barrett reversed a magistrate's earlier dismissal of a male student's Title IX discrimination case. In their ruling, the panel stated that, taken together, John's allegations raise a plausible inference that he was denied an educational benefit on the basis of his sex, and that his claim should have made it past the pleading stage, so we reversed the magistrate judge's premature dismissal of it. This sets a precedent that challenges another feminist meal ticket: Title IX cases on university campuses and the policy and training related to them. The 7th Circuit ruling has allowed a case to go forward that may force universities to change their standards when holding hearings on sexual misconduct allegations. If the administration of a post-secondary institution can be deemed to have discriminated against a male student because they followed the Believe Women standard in such cases, everything feminist-run consulting companies have been teaching these institutions about testimony only, or he said, she said cases, is wrong. They will no longer be able to use the sex of an accuser as their reason to hold an allegation alone to have met the preponderance of evidence standard when countered only by the respondent's denial. They will have to consider other factors that contribute to or detract from the petitioner's credibility. If neither is more credible, they cannot rule that the preponderance of evidence favors the accuser, and they cannot punish a respondent without risking a Title IX discrimination lawsuit. Consider this in the environment created by the changes to Title IX policy made by Betsy DeVos, which forbid these institutions from applying a different standard to sexual misconduct cases involving students than to those involving staff, or to sexual misconduct cases in general than to those involving other similarly serious infractions. Remember the freakout in which feminist advocates accused DeVos of forcing a standard on universities that would, quote, let rapists go unpunished? At the very least, this precedent set in the current legal environment removes much of the power that the preponderance of evidence standard as defended by feminist activists could hold. Feminist grifters seem to be chewing their own lips off in frustration, all over just one of 5 possibilities. Because of this, discussion of her potential nomination has dramatically overshadowed discussion of the other 4. That might be a big mistake because they're all serious contenders, and if due process and questions regarding federal funding are the underlying issues behind feminist fears about Amy Coney Barrett, they're not going to like the other 4 ladies any better. This week, HBR Talk will examine the feminist panic over potential U.S. Supreme Court appointee Amy Coney Barrett, and we'll also discuss the possibilities those panicking pundits have mostly ignored. We stream on multiple platforms. You can tune in to the live stream on YouTube via the link in the low bar, or find other viewing and listening options on badgerfeed.com.